What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching, adapt and respond. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Is James Franklin right to embrace the suck? That is to say, just how bad his Nittany Lions have been against top 5 competition, and particularly against Michigan and Ohio State. Also want to discuss odds for making the college football playoff inside the Big Ten. Some teams that are listed, a lot of teams that are not. Tommy Castellanos ain't taking back what he said about Bama. Should he? And what exactly did he say in response to not taking back what he said against Bama? And Brent is ready for Colorado and doesn't give a damn where they're going to play Georgia. That game is not going to take place at the Flats anymore. Or I should say this year. It's not going to take place at the Flats this year. But I want to talk about this James Franklin story to start with. Adam Rittenberg did a good job on this one, man. He got a great quote from Franklin because you, like I, know that James Franklin ain't been that good against teams that have a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1 next to their names when they play Penn State. I've been very critical of James Franklin's Penn State, and I think I have every reason to be. However, there are many, many, many people that believe that Penn State is the best team in college football going into this season, and you will see them ranked number 1 in many polls and rankings. I'm not going to do that. I'm doing the 136. It will be out when it is out. But I can tell you that Penn State ain't going to be at number 1 because I can't trust you to beat number 1. I come from the Ric Flair school, right? Which is to say, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And Ohio State is the man. 2023, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And in 2023, the man is Michigan. So forth, so on. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and you couldn't beat Oregon. Okay? I don't care that you stopped a mud hole in Southern Methodist. I don't care that you beat Boise State. I care that you lost to Notre Dame. I care that you lost to Ohio State last year and lost to Michigan the year before that. I care that James Franklin's teams, for whatever reason, cannot beat a team that we think will play for the national championship, even when we expect them to be the team to beat. Okay? I think there were people that thought that for whatever reason, Penn State would show up and beat Oregon. And they got close. They really did. They played very well. But in the very tight moment, they couldn't find a way to get it done, even with that really great offense and defense they have. Now, they got 15 guys returning, and among them, Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, Drew Aller, Dennis Sutton. It's pretty good, right? They got better on defense and in defensive coordinator when they added Jim Knowles. Not to say that Tom Allen didn't do a hell of a good job. It's just Jim Knowles, the best defensive coordinator in college football last year. Andy Koldonicki's going into year 2. Still need to see one of these wide receivers step up and be what Tyler Warren was for this program. But again, it's not about the wide receivers for me. It's about the guy throwing the football. Drew Aller said he's coming back because he's got things to do. Drew Aller is tooly. He's been tooly. He hasn't put it together. But for that matter, neither has James Franklin. So I was really interested in this quote that Franklin gave to ESPN. And it goes, you got to embrace it. It is what it is. That's why you came to Penn State. I would also say there's a long list of coaches in college basketball that was a conversation about them until it wasn't. At the end of the day, I'm excited about the opportunity to change that narrative. And so are our players. There's also recognizing that 99% of the programs would love to be in the position that we are. You have to take it as a sign of respect and a compliment, and you have to take it as a challenge. But 99% of the programs in the country would die to be where we're at, end quote. 99% of the country isn't who we're comparing you to, Penn State. That's not who we're comparing James Franklin to. That's never who we've compared Penn State to. We don't compare James Franklin's Penn State to Boise State. We don't compare James Franklin's Penn State to Louisiana Monroe. We don't compare James Franklin's Penn State to Tennessee Chattanooga. We compare them to the Blue Bloods, to the national champs. Compare Penn State to Clemson. Compare Penn State to Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, LSU. Pick a team that has won the college football playoff in the last decade. Pick Florida State if that's what you want to do. But the one thing you can't say is that you won a national championship, and you really can't say that you've been any good against elite competition. That is the 1%. That's who you're compared to. So if your argument is building around being like the majority, that is not why you come to Penn State either. You come to Penn State to be great. You come to Penn State to be remembered as one of the best to ever do it. You don't come to Penn State to be compared to the 99%. Nobody gives a damn. I don't care that you want to compare your team to everybody else's success. The standard at Penn State needs to be the standard that it is at Ohio State, that it is at Michigan, and it ain't. Record against Ohio State and Michigan. Last 4 years, James Franklin's Penn State, 0-7. Not a single win against the two teams that have proven to be the class of this conference for the last 4 years. Okay? We're also talking about a James Franklin and a Penn State program that is 1-15 against AP top 5 opponents. That means every 16 times they get to play, they're going to win one. That can't be what it is. That can't be what it is if you expect to be a top 5 program, if you expect to be a team that can win the national championship. And that's what Penn State is banking on. They re-signed, a lot of players that could have gone to the NFL with the expressed opportunity here to go, we can win a national championship. That's why Nick Singleton is back. Katron Allen is back. That's why you go into the portal hard. That's why you were able to go get Jim Knowles. You're spending money, which is good. You're bringing in talent, which is better. I need to say, though, I'm not going to rank them number 1 because I don't think that the hope and dream strategy is going to win. I think if you're going to rank them at number 1, it's because you're going to say, well, they're due. So is my rent. And come January, one of them is getting paid. Okay? And unlike Penn State, the last 4 years, my checks don't bounce. I need this team to show up with fury. I need this team to show up with fire. I need this team to beat Oregon when it's time to play them in September like they stole something and roll into the Big Ten championship and roll past Ohio State, Oregon, or Michigan, or whomever it might be, and then roll through the college football playoff. We expanded the college football playoff to 12 teams, in part so teams like Penn State could get in, because they couldn't get in on the 14 merits. Just what it is. Of all the programs that we talk about, who we think have an opportunity to win their first college football playoff national championship, the one that I am not picking, because of these reasons that I've laid for you here, is Penn State. I'm picking Texas to win a national championship before I pick Penn State. And you know who's saying this. Okay? SC needs to make a rise. Florida needs to make a rise. Wisconsin needs to make a rise. We can continue to go on about this, but we don't need to. You don't need to. You get the point. So if you're going into Big Ten Media Days and your narrative needs to be is, hey, we accept the challenge and a lot of people are envious of us. Okay, cool. Are you envious of you? Like, is that who are you comparing? Because if you're comparing yourself to what you've done in the past, great, fine, cool. But what you've done in the past ain't win national championships. And that's what Penn State football needs to be about. Glorified independent, glorified independent. They act like a glorified independent in the Big Ten. Even though they've been in this league for damn near 20 years, got to go back to 86 for the last time we're talking about Penn State winning a national championship? So it ain't exactly in the DNA. Okay? A lot has gone on, a lot of changes. Great first-round picks. Mike Parsons, one of my favorite players ever to come out of there. Stick City, Paul plus Leslie, right? LeVar Arrington. My goodness. I keep going on about what is great about Penn State, but I don't need to. Penn State needs to demonstrate that they are indeed great, or this narrative continues to be told as it is, and nothing changes. Come back, want to have a conversation about Tommy Castellanos and what he had to say at ACC Media Days when he was asked. So that thing you said about Bama and Nick Saban, you sticking to that? Back on Adapt and Respond with me, RJ Young. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. Fill out the form in the description on the YouTube link and collect your free sticker. Those are going out into the mail. They should be arriving to many post haste, right? We are fast growing to over 450 ratings on Apple, over 150 on Spotify, and the audio podcast continues to grow and is becoming a platform that I think you guys are enjoying. You're also enjoying these longer shows, and any feedback you're going to give us on the longer shows, we will take as we continue to add elements to what we're doing here. And again, the longer show is something that people have asked for. It went away for a while. I'm glad to give this back to you guys because I'm back to doing the kind of segments that I would normally do when I was doing full shows. Okay, so let's talk about Florida State, Tommy Castellanos. But as a way into that, Mike Norvell gets up at the days at ACC Media Day and proceeds to go full PJ Fleck. He is just out here telling you, I want our players pissed off, mad, angry, upset, and to put it all into 2025. I don't care what they did last year. I don't care what we did the year before that. I care about how are you going to respond when we play Alabama week 1. And that starts next week when they begin preseason camp like everybody else that isn't playing overseas. I enjoy that. I also think you don't have another way to go here. You have to tell this team right from the jump. You can't afford to be embarrassed like you were embarrassed last year. It's going to be difficult. So either you can play cautiously or you can play with great optimism and a certain level of respect for your opponent, which could be none, or you're going to get your brains beat in again. Remember, Florida State is one of the worst seasons it's had in 50 friggin' years. Last year, they go 2-10. They start out as an AP top 10 team, and it's downhill from there. Georgia Tech, Memphis, everybody seemed to be able to get a piece of Florida State last year. Florida State, who won a national championship in 2014, got bucked out of the college football playoff after going 13-0 in 2023. Didn't matter, right? Didn't matter. Come back in 2025, new offensive coordinator, Gus Malzahn, new defensive coordinator, Tony White, new quarterback, Tommy Castellanos. You got a little bit better at some positions. You lost some great players, right? But Tommy Castellanos is bringing in a little bit of brash, a little bit of I don't care who we're playing, except Bama. I want Bama. Do you remember there was a time when we would make jokes about the people that say they want Bama and how somebody could get hurt here? You know, like it became a joke outside of sports, right? Somebody would win something and got nothing to do with no competition, no sports, and they would say, we want Bama. Tommy Castellanos apparently wants them and was unafraid to tell them this in June when he spoke to On3, and he said, look, Nick Saban ain't there to save them anymore. And that made the rounds because I immediately looked at that and I said, if I'm defensive coordinator, defensive line coach, linebackers coach, secondaries coach at Alabama, this man has absolutely put this on the board for me. I'm putting it everywhere. I would not be shocked to find out there's an Alabama booster who took out billboards with the quote on it saying, y'all gonna let this stand? This used to be Alabama. This used to be the program that you didn't want no truck with. Now we got dudes like Tommy Castellanos coming from Boston College in Central Florida saying they can win that trade. What y'all gonna do about it? Now, Isaiah Horton, Deontay Lawson, for their part at SEC Media Day, said, we heard it. It will be dealt with. But I can't imagine being a quarterback when half my game is running with the football, talking noise about a defense because a 73-year-old head coach is not there anymore. Okay. So what did he say at ACC Media Days when he was asked about, hey, do you stand by this? He said, we stand on what I said. Ooh, okay. I said what I said, and we stand on that. I don't mean no disrespect to none of these guys at Alabama or anything like that. I have confidence in my guys and the work we've been putting in and preparing and the preparation we've been putting in together. That's all that was. No disrespect to those guys, but we stand on what I said. I think what you said was disrespectful, and I think that's how many people are going to take it, because it's real difficult for me to see disrespect when you say Nick Saban ain't there to save you no more. And you're saying you're going to stand on that, but you didn't mean no disrespect. I get it. You want to defuse the situation. You know, you want to be like, hey, it's about us. It's not about them, which is the thing coaches love to say, to which I'm going, if it's about us and it ain't about them, do you think they don't pray either? Is that what you think? You think they're the heathens and you the Israelites? You don't think that both of y'all believe that y'all are anointed to go win this game? You don't see that? I always used to pick that fight, man, because I would ask this, like, if we're talking about having respect for our opponents, wouldn't we want to treat them like we would want to be treated? Which is to say, not kind, but I'm not going to act like that's an easy win over there. Like I tell people all the time, you're welcome to try me, short, your voice, whatever. Cool. Bet. Right here. Come get it. It's an all-day affair over here. And that's what I would expect from you, right? So when you sell wolf tickets in June, but you're talking about it's about us in July, come August, what am I going to expect from you? Like it ain't about, hey, I said what I said. I stand on that, but no disrespect to the Alabama guys. No. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. There's either disrespect to the Alabama guys or you stand on what you said. Okay? Because if you stand on what you said, it is disrespect. Either you pump the brakes all the way back and get, hey, my bad, my fault. I was on one. You know how it be. I'm trying to pump myself up, trying to pump my guys up. I understand that y'all believe that Alabama going to drop 1,000 on us. And that Florida State wasn't very good last year and doesn't look like a top 25 team this year. But you know what? It's going to be all right. No, that's not what you did. That's not what you did. You're trying to also signal to the alumni, signal to Noles fans that, yeah, I said what I said, but you're also trying to look over at Tuscaloosa and, hey, no disrespect. Homie, I'm from Tulsa. We play this little thing called All City. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You probably got it at All City where you from. All City in Tulsa used to be the TPS schools. That'd be Tulsa Public Schools because, I went to Tulsa Public Schools. I got things to say about Cassia, Bishop Kelly, Holland Hall. I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? Metro Christian, Bixby, Union, Jinx. Anyway, point is, you didn't show up to All City to take back what you said. You showed up to All City because you hate Edison. You showed up to All City because I hate Hale. I hate Webster. I can't stand Booker T. That's what they told us. That's what they said. But you know what? When it comes time to go hit somebody, I don't care about what you hate. I care about what you stand. Line up. Let's go play. And I believe that's what Alabama has to do going into this. They're coming off a season that was down for them. Okay? They go 9-4. They miss the college football playoff. Kalen DeBoer takes 4 losses. But here's one of the wild stats. Nick Saban was 135-3 in games where they were favored by 14 or more. In games where Alabama was favored by 14 or more last year, they go 6-3. It's already 3 losses. Matches the 138 total for Nick Saban. They got to come out and put a hammer down. They have to come out and they have to make a statement. They have to go back into the SEC where they're going to face much tougher competition than Florida State. And they need to be able to feel good about that. And more than anything else, again, this comes back to the All City of it all. On my block, on my set, I got to be the dog. I got to be. You can be your block on your set in San Antonio, in San Jose, you know what I'm saying? In San Diego, in Santee. But on my block, I got to be the man. I got to be the man. You're not going to have me embarrassed and send me home where other people look like you can take my set, take my block. Now that's my corner. I saw what you did over there when you went to go play Florida State I saw what you did. Respect. Putting on for the SEC, putting on for us on the block. Meanwhile, if you don't, guess what? We're all coming after you. But if you're going to do what Tommy Castellanos does and you're going to show up to somebody else's block and you're going to start barking, ain't got no choice but to come out there and disagree with prejudice. Disagree with a level of ferocity for which don't nobody else in the crowd want to try you. You want to be knockaround guys. You want to be Vin Diesel knockaround guys. One of my favorite movies, okay? 500 fights. That's how many fights I thought it took, it's Vin Diesel's character, to be a tough guy. 500. But along the way, it stops being about winning the fights. It just becomes about the act of fighting. The thing you get from such experience is you find out what you're made of. And because you've done that introspection, you've done that work, it really is about you. It ain't about them. You know where you're willing to go. Again, I'll hit this subject as often as I have to. Drag somebody into the deep water. See if they keep swimming. Drag someone into a fight where all it is knowing pain. See if they keep fighting. That's Alabama's task. If Florida State can respond, we're going to have a hell of a football game. If Florida State can't respond, it can get out of hand real quick, fast, and in a hurry. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say, I stand on what I said, and no disrespect to those guys, because you got to get hit, and they're going to try to hit you, and you got to try to hit them. Let's see who wins that fist fight. Come back, talk a little bit about Brent Key and why he wants Georgia and is so prepared for Colorado. Back on Adapt and Respond with me, RJ Young. Thanks for being here. Talk college football year round. You're into that. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question, comment below. Should Brent Key really want Georgia in the way that he seems to want Georgia? Brent Key reminds me of an old school Southern football coach. Just hearing him talk, hearing about how he goes about his business, seeing how much he loves the game and the physicality of the game. And then I say this often enough that you should probably believe me at this point. A football program takes on the identity of its head coach. If your head coach is one that airs the ball out and runs the score up, that's what the program's going to be about, right? If your head coach is kind of eats film, but also just wants to maul you, that's what your program's going to be about. Brent Key's Georgia Tech is the latter. They want your heart. They want your soul. They want to take it from you. And the easiest and the most effective way to take somebody's heart and soul and will to stay on that football field, to break them in half, is to run through their face. And Georgia Tech has been doing that for 3 years. Okay. Now, they made rings for going 7-6 last year. But when you take into account who they were able to knock off, 2 top 10 teams, and damn near took Georgia into a loss that probably, if nothing else, makes it real hard for them to make college football playoff with a loss in the SEC championship game. You can understand it. You can understand. They felt good about last year, and they should. They should feel good about last year, which means they should feel good about going in this year because they return a lunch. So Brent Key gets up and is asked almost out the gate, why is the Georgia Tech game that was supposed to be played in Atlanta, at Georgia Tech's home field in Atlanta, being moved to Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta? To which Brent Key says, that's way above my pay grade. Well, I mean, it might be, dog, but somebody wrote it down, and it's let me check. It says money. It says money right there. It says money. That's why they moved the game. Ain't above my pay grade. I just read it, because it's been widely reported, things like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, national news media outlets. But I get it. You ain't trying to say that we should have had that game at Georgia Tech and that it's about, money. There it is. But what he did say, I felt him say with his whole chest, Because after he said, push that aside, like I'm not going to talk about, there it is, money, what he said was, I could give a crap where we play. We can go home tonight and play them at Piedmont Park at 5 o'clock. I'm serious. He said it twice too. He's fired up. I don't care where we play them. I hate Georgia. You can feel it in his heart. In his heart. Woo! That man wanted that win last year. That man hates Georgia. And you know what? I would not expect anything less from somebody that absolutely positively rides for Georgia Tech. But it was nice to see. It was so nice to see. Because, historically, that ain't been a game that Georgia Tech expects to win, right? But last year, going into Sanford, taking them to 8 overtimes, and damn near walking out with the W, would have been the first win at Sanford since October 2019. Yeah, I could see why he would say, no. We give us another shot. I want them bad. And I love that. I really do, because Brent Key wants to run the football, wants to prove that his team is a much more tough team than yours is. I mean, at Michigan, they be saying that smash stuff all the time, but Georgia Tech, they believe it. Like, that's what they ride or die for. And one of the reasons that they get to do that is the quarterback. Brent Key loves him some Haynes King. I love me some Haynes King. Dude from Longview, Texas. Real hard for me not to like somebody from East Texas, okay? There's some people in there that I don't like from East Texas, and that's a conversation for another day. But in as far as attitude and mood and get down, they from around the way, as far as I'm concerned. And Haynes King is one of those dudes. 52nd 400-meter sprinter. It's pretty fast in high school. It's not fast in the world, but it's fast as hell. I should say that. And it showed, because there was a game that they played 2023. It was their bowl game against Central Florida. They win that game 30-17. He rushed for 128 yards on 18 carries. Didn't throw for more than 87. I think he had a TD and a pick in that game too. Like 9-13. But Brent Key told a story about Haynes King and his football team to basically underline what kind of a leader he thinks he has at quarterback. Apparently, Haynes King had an opportunity to break 4 single-season passing records at Georgia Tech. And he was very, very close to hitting each one of those marks. And as the game came into hand in the second half, Buster Faulkner, offensive coordinator, would ask Haynes, what do you want to do? He said, run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. And he kept saying it. So much so that Georgia Tech finished that game with 27 straight rushes. Now, Brent Key tells that as a way of saying putting himself above the team, which is what you want. Excuse me. Putting the team above yourself. My bad. Putting yourself below the team. Whatever's best for the team is what you want. And in that game, the easiest way for them to go make sure that they were going to win it was to continue to try to snatch souls at the line of scrimmage. And it's easier to do that halfway through the third quarter and into the fourth quarter running the football. It's easier to score points throwing the ball. And you know what? Throwing the ball late in the game has proven to be a way for you to lose a game that you should probably walk out with a W by 2 touchdowns, right? Put the ball in the air, not just because somebody else picked it off, but because maybe you scored and gave the ball back to somebody that shouldn't have the ball. If you can keep the ball and you got the lead, there's no reason for you to give it back unless you absolutely have to. And that's called 4th down and long. Okay. I think we're also talking about a Haynes King that understands the identity of the football team is built around Brent Key's identity. And Brent Key's identity is we want to hurt you at the line of scrimmage. We want that fight. We want trench warfare. We want fast hands. We want kung fu. We want it all up there. That's where we think we can win a game. That's what they did against Florida State. Snatched their soul at the line of scrimmage. That $12 million defense, that $2 million defensive line. Took it straight from them. Knowing that, I hope Robert Livingston has that defense ready for what they're going to face week 1 when they play Georgia Tech. Brent Key was asked. So they got a new quarterback. Caden Salter's coming from Liberty. Are you watching more Colorado film? Are you watching more Liberty film? How are you preparing for that game? To which Brent Key says, I'm probably the wrong person to ask this question to because I watch a lot of film. And then the man proceeded to tell us he does watch a lot of film. Brent Key has watched the last 2 seasons of Colorado football all the way through twice. July. He said he's also 3/4 of the way through all of the games that their transfers have played. Man eats the film, chews the film. He expects the same thing from his coordinators, from his assistants. They will be prepared for everything that Colorado has ever done and might want to do offensively and defensively. That's football coach. It's football coach. Some guys are just built to sit in a dark room with a projector and a remote and take apart your tendencies. Take apart your tendencies, how often you want to be in this package, what this means, downs and distance, all of it. And if you watch it twice through, especially if you got the mind of a quarterback, there are things that you just see that you can immediately clock. And that's poker. That's what that is. Oh, I know what to do here. That's chess. I know what to do here. I've seen this look. I'm going to get us into this or I'm going to get it out of this. I love that. You got that from the head coach. That's all the way down. Again, taking on the identity of your program. As they prepare for what will be a game of two early 1990s national champions, I'm going to be curious to find out just how much of that can translate to the football field. Because it's one thing for Brent Key to do all of this. It's another thing for them to be able to execute it, right? I say this often. If I know what you're running, yeah, maybe I could stop it. You know, if you're telling me you run ISO, cool. I know how to fill. I know where the safety needs to be. I know where the linebacker needs to be. But there's something to be said about knowing what's coming at you and not being able to do a damn thing about it. Let's see which one of these programs is that team. Because Brent Key also said this, and I believe it. Your first game is always, can you execute your offense, your defense, your special teams with fewest amount of mistakes? Everybody's going to be new. We haven't really got to hit anybody other than each other for almost 8 months. And they've been watching us too. Again, respect for your opponent. Believe that they might know something about you. Do some self-scouting. I am going to be very excited about this game because, Prime back on the sideline, Caden Salter gives them a added run dimension that they haven't had with Shedeur Sanders, and Robert Livingston's defense has progressed and gotten better each and every year. If they can run the damn ball at Colorado, they might actually have a shot here. But here's the thing. Georgia Tech doesn't give you a lot of opportunities to hold the ball because they run the ball so well. So you're going to have to be surgical with each one of the possessions you get. I would not count on more than 8. If you can't get to 35, which means scoring touchdowns 5 times out of those 8 opportunities, it's going to be a long day for you against Georgia Tech. If you can score 4 touchdowns on those 8 drives, maybe if your defense is playing great. But again, that is the problem with playing a team like Georgia Tech and playing from behind. As long as Georgia Tech can hold serve, you got a shot. If you're Georgia Tech. If Georgia Tech falls behind, 2 touchdowns, you sit on the rock. Okay? Goes like that. That's what you're going to see. A lot of this is just playing EA Sports College Football 25 or 26, now. And you'll see some of these things. But if you've been playing football since you were a child, you know how this works. So does Brent Key. So I can't wait to see where they win the margins or who wins the margins in this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come back. Let's go through the odds to make the college football playoff among Big Ten teams. Talk about teams that are listed here and why I think only 1 or 2 of these teams should probably be considered as, something like a surprise. Back on Adapt and Respond with me, RJ Young. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. How many teams do you think will make the college football playoff out of the Big Ten in 2025? We got odds from Circa on which teams we think can make the playoff. And not every team got odds. I think that's pretty smart on the bookmakers' part because they lost their shirts on Travis Hunter winning the Heisman Trophy last year. And one of the things that we had seen people do for so long is give plus 10,000 for almost every player that was, on the board. Now you just don't put those players on the board because you had these things happen before, and college football is such a volatile sport. So the programs that they chose to give odds to, I find interesting. Okay. Now, there are teams here that have never made the college football playoff. than there are those that have. So let's start with the ones that have. Ohio State minus 400, cool. Penn State at minus 310, also cool. Oregon, minus 300, fine. Then you get funky with it. So 3 teams that you more or less can bank on because those 3 teams made the college football playoff last year. Plus 225 for Michigan. It's a lot on Bryce Underwood. Plus 480 for USC. It's a lot on Jaden Mayava. Plus 575 on Illinois sounds like good money because Illinois feels like that team that Indiana was last year. But then you got Nebraska, who's getting the same odds, plus 575. Then you get Indiana at plus 600, Iowa at plus 650. I don't know why we got Indiana here at plus 600, but if you're going to be able to put down 100 and pick up 600 on Indiana making the playoff, and they made the playoff last year, that sounds like a good bet to me. If you do the betting, right? I don't do the betting. Even though, I pay attention to it, whatnot. Too many people in getting pinched for betting. That's just new. I don't need that kind of controversy in my life. Plus 750 for Washington. Do you like Damon Williams that much? And then my favorite here, plus 1,800 Minnesota. Take a look at Minnesota's schedule. 2 losses. If Drake Lindsey is that dude, it's a good football team. PJ Fleck seems to think he's got the quarterback he needs. And he's got a guy that's going to play both ways in Corey Perch. That dude's going to play offense, defense, special teams. He's had 5 interceptions and a forced fumble. Plays great football when it's time to play great football. Taylor's back. He fell just short of 1,000 yards last year, 986, I believe it was, on not a whole bunch of rushes. I say that. He had over 200. I like the Washington at plus 1,800 there. Like, if you got it, fine. The Gophers feel like a team that were just this close to being Indiana last year. They just need a couple things to go their way that didn't. If they are good enough at making those opportunities theirs as opposed to those opportunities their opponents, it's easy for me to see them as a team here. And that is surprising, right? I think that Michigan at plus 225, I would probably swap with Illinois at plus 575. Feels like I don't know what Circle is thinking about there, but it's probably that the public knows that Michigan won the national championship in 2023 and made the previous 3 college football playoffs. Illinois has not done that before. I get it. Luke Altmaier, quarterback at Illinois, is one thing. Brett Bielema wants to run the football, and he's been pretty good about it. Also beat Michigan last year. It's important. Nebraska is about Dylan Raiola and Dana Holgorsen. I think if those 2 are in sync, you'll find a wideout or 2 that can help you out, and you'll make that happen. Iowa at plus 650 is intriguing because Bart Gronowski is a great quarterback, but will he be a great quarterback for Iowa? We'll wait and see on that one. I think he will be. I do. I did that segment earlier last week. Not a whole lot of people watch that segment as a standalone VOD. By the way, whenever we're having these discussions about the teams that we talk about on the show, if you want to see UNLV on this show, you need to show me more people, because there's nothing like putting out content that nobody wants to watch. So we don't do it. We talk about the teams that people want to hear talk about, and they do that by clicking through, doing what you're doing. So if you got a whole group of people over there talking about, I would really like to see more Iowa content, they ain't showing up over here. Show me the Iowa fan and we'll serve them. That's what we'll do. I think when you look at this list, though, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams that Circa thinks are capable of making the college football playoff, of 18 in that league. I don't see more than 4 here. I don't think that's even more than 4 for the SEC for what it's worth in a 12-team playoff. 3, I think you can bank on that. So the 2 teams that make the Big Ten championship game, and then maybe an 11-win team, right? Or a 10-win team, I guess, depending on the records of those 2 teams that make the Big Ten championship. But this whole part where Tony Petitti wants to see a 6-3 team have an opportunity to make a 16-team playoff in the college football playoff, I don't like that neither. I would love to see someone new from this conference make the college football playoff, like SC, Illinois, Nebraska, Iowa, Washington. Well, Washington has made it. Minnesota. It'd be fun. But if you look at past Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, good luck, because there might be a great Big 12 team over there. There might be 3 great ACC teams over there. Could be what Pat Narduzzi thinks, that North Carolina and Pitt are going to play in the ACC championship game this year. that could upset the apple cart. We'll see here. But this is fun to talk about because it's July. We're in media days. And everybody's undefeated and everybody's got a shot. And we know that because Indiana flipped the script last year. Texas Christian flipped the script 2022. I would not be shocked to find out somebody somewhere does it this year. And that is why we absolutely, positively, 100% love this sport. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Adapt and Respond. If you like the show, subscribe, like this video, leave a comment. Let me know about that on podcast, Apple and Spotify. Leave 5-star reviews. I'm reading them. You guys are saying some really cool things, some very nice things. And let me send you a sticker. All right, it's going to be it for me. Deuces.